On the news, reps call for suspension of Samura Agreement. Kano and Nasu Lagos chapter join nationwide protest over withheld salaries. And court restrains Rivers Chief Judge from accepting impeachment notice against Fubara. Hello and welcome to News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Adikun. Following a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by 88 members, the House of Representatives has asked the federal government to suspend the implementation of the Samura Agreement until all controversial clauses are addressed and spelled out. The Samura Agreement, which aims to address global challenges, is a partnership agreement and a vital legal framework for cooperation between the European Union and its member states on the one hand, and members of the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States on the other. Controversy trailed the Samura Agreement signed by the federal government with the European Union, with many frowning upon what they believe is the recognition of lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender LGBT rights by the Nigerian government, something the government has strongly denied. Moving the motion on Tuesday, a member of the House, Aliyu Madaki of the New Nigeria People's Party, drew attention to the clause which highlights gender equality and describes it as a Trojan horse which could violate the morals of the country.
Further worried that the signing of such an agreement with the aforementioned clauses, if true, violate our sovereignty and is a clear contravention of Section 12(1) of 99 Constitution as amended.
Where the federal government is going into an agreement, by the provisions of Section 12 of the Constitution, the Parliament ought to be carried along. And if the Parliament had been carried along, these arguments, even from our people that we speak for, would not have been there, because Nigerians would have been better informed. The problem is that of lack of information. And as a parliament, all we are saying is that we want to be satisfied that what the executive has told Nigerians is actually the true position of the facts.
In fact, 3 ministers have come out, including information, budget and planning, in public to say there was nothing like that in the agreement. Go and Google your media. You will see the agreement, you will see there. That it was never mentioned, it was never discussed. There is nothing like lesbian rights or gay rights. It is about human rights, environmental protection, and trade agreements, period.
The Samura deal has sparked a barrage of reactions, with many opposing LGBT rights, which is contrary to the anti-same-sex marriages and gay relationships law enacted in 2014 by former President Goodluck Jonathan. Earlier, I spoke with a lawyer and activist on the Samura Agreement, Sonny Ekwowusi, to get his thoughts on the suspension call by REPS members.
Because the sad truth is that even before the signing, Samura Agreement had been implemented in Nigeria. We've gone to court over it, teaching our children. It's not just only LGBT, teaching our children comprehensive sexuality education, how to touch the genitals, how to do masturbation, breast enlargement, and so on, all this rubbish from the West. So the House of Reps said today, immediately the motion was tabled, 70% of the members of the National Assembly were shouting, we don't want it. They have now said that Samura Agreement be suspended, that all Nigerians would discuss it, including traditional rulers and religious leaders. That's the way it ought to be. Somebody cannot just go to Brussels and sign the articles of Samura Agreement, Article 2.5, 9.5, 16.2, 97. They all boils that gender equality is not male and female, gender. I think I have repeated before that I go to United Nations, so I know the language of the European Union and the United Nations. Gender is no more male and female. It's given social construct. It's not biological construct. It's not given to a gender, transgender, and all these other rubbish. So we don't want in this country. Those who are talking that all this, they don't know what is happening. I was a part of the negotiation. I know that the EU, European Union, have been in Africa since 2019, lobbying African leaders to sign this agreement. 34 have not signed. Okay? Namibia did not sign because they can't understand how you can sign an agreement that does not have definition. I'm a lawyer. Any controversial agreement, even tenancy agreement, you put under definition clause so that the terms will be defined. You know what you're talking about. And we told them during the negotiation that if you put what's called in law exclusion clause to say that under the circumstances can the terms of this agreement be construed to mean LGBT, sex education, abortion, they refused. They refused, which means that they have something up their sleeves.
Well, now that the House of Reps has suspended the implementation of the Samura Agreement until all controversial clauses are addressed and spelled out, how do you think this should pan out eventually, especially when the bill aims to address global challenges, of which, of course, Nigeria is expected to be a beneficiary?
Yeah, I mean, you need to, there has no bill at National Assembly. What happened is that the agreement has been signed. The House of Reps, who represent you and I, represent our interests, so they have authority to speak about this. They're raising the eyebrow and say, why do you sign this kind of thing? The bill is not the National Assembly. The National Assembly is saying, look, you sign this without consulting us. Let us discuss it. Suspend everything. Let us discuss it. We represent the people. You are the executive. Okay. Let us look at what you have signed. So I know that so much money is involved, but you can't say because of a few dollars you want to get from the EU and you compromise your existence. Some agreement is about who we are as a people, as Africans, as Nigerians. Our identity is very important. In Europe, they can be doing a gay marriage, they can be doing gay, that. In any case, we have anti-gay law. Why do you sign Samura Agreement when we have anti-gay law? So they can be doing gay in Europe or transgender. But we are different now. We are different. You can't tell us how to make our laws. You can't impose your lifestyle on us.
Members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU UNILAG chapter, have on Tuesday joined their counterparts in nationwide protest to demand the immediate release of their withheld salaries. Speaking to newsmen in Lagos, the National Vice President, SANU West District, says the demonstrations are staged to express members' grievance over government's failed promises regarding their emolument and other educational areas. TV 360's correspondent Chidi Igwe has the rest in this report.
Tuesday's protests followed the expiration of a 2-week ultimatum handed by NASU and SANU to the federal government in June. Members of both bodies have accused the federal government of unfair treatment and discrimination by failing to pay them like their academic counterparts.
Behind me, you can see the non-academic staff union engaging on a one-day protest. Now, this is off the back of the federal government's negligence to pay them what they owe them for 4 months.
Carrying placards with inscriptions and singing solidarity songs, SANU and NASU members berate the federal government for paying withheld salaries to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, while neglecting the non-academic unions.
It's just a pity that we have government that refuse to listen to the yearning of our members. 4 months without salary, we are agitating for it. When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assumed duty as a president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, he gave waiver to all the members of all the workers in the university who went on strike in 2022. And at the end of the day, the government attended to Academic Staff Union of University. Is that fair enough? As this has been directed by the National, this is just a one-day protest. The mother of protest will take place by next week. Please, our colleagues, and let me use this opportunity to encourage our colleagues again. Be ready. Be ready for this struggle. No retreat, no surrender.
before this protest, our national leaders of the two unions have been meeting with government representatives, and they keep telling us the money will be paid. But it's like they are taking us for a ride. Since 2022, they promised to pay this money. 2023 went on, roll over. We are in 2024, about rolling over again. So these are our rights, our legitimate rights. They are salaries that we work for, despite the fact that we are on strike during those periods. And before we went on those strikes, there were agreements between the unions and the government that the government never fulfilled, which led to those strikes. So there's no way we can get anything from government unless we go on strike.
The unions insist the protests will continue if their demands aren't met.
We had an understanding with the Honorable Minister of Education. There was an agreement that was duly signed by the leadership of our unions and the Honorable Minister of the then Honorable Minister of Education. And one of the clauses of that agreement was to the effect that there will be a non-victimization clause. We said that no member of SANU or NASU will be victimized on account of this strike. But unfortunately, by denying us of our salaries, what they have done is that they have victimized us. They have continued to persecute us. We have been patient. We have called, we have appealed, we have made different kinds of measures to addressing these issues, but unfortunately, all of them failed. So where we are now is that this is just one of those efforts we are making towards ensuring that we get our demands met.
Back in April, the Minister of Education had promised non-academic staff members of universities would be paid half of what their withheld salaries are after the President's approval, but the unions say they have not received any payments. The Minister had also blamed the communication problem for the non-payments, while he insisted that they were not being sidelined. But the bottom line is that the payments have not been made. Chidi Igwe, TV360 News, Lagos.
A High Court in Rivers State has issued an interim order restraining the Chief Judge of the state, Simon Chibuzo Amadi, from acting on any resolution or document seeking the impeachment of Siminalayi Fubara, governor of the state. Ruling on a motion ex parte filed by the governor and the State Attorney General, Jumbo Stephen, the presiding judge, also restrained the Chief Judge and Clerk of the State Assembly from dealing with pro-Wiki loyalist Martin Amewule and 26 other lawmakers. The court further ordered all parties to maintain status quo until the motion for an interlocutory injunction is heard and determined. The judge has fixed July 15 for the motion on notice for interlocutory injunction. This court order comes after the faction of the Assembly loyal to Nyesom Wike asked Fubara to resubmit the state's 2024 budget within 7 days. Meanwhile, a non-political group, the Independent Monitors on Good Governance in Nigeria, has lauded Governor Siminalayi Fubara's leadership style of transparency and accountability in governance in Rivers State. The group says Governor Fubara's commitment to sustainable growth and development in Rivers State is worthy of recognition. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, convener of the group, Okwa Dan, also acknowledged that the state has experienced tangible developmental strides in critical sectors such as education, health, rural development, and urban renewal under Fubara's leadership.
Under the leadership of Governor Siminalayi Fubara, the state has experienced tangible developmental strides in critical sectors such as education, health, rural development, and urban renewal. Despite the avalanche of political issues that have characterized the state, the governor has remained resolute in piloting the affairs of the state. From what was gathered on the ground in Rivers State, the governor has ensured an even spread of developmental efforts across the length and breadth of the state. The governor of Rivers State has also displayed sound leadership acumen by spreading developmental efforts to the hinterlands in Rivers State, and the people are overjoyed with the efforts at ensuring motorable roads, primary healthcare services, and other endeavors that are primed to put smiles on the faces of the people. The Independent Monitors on Good Governance salutes Governor Siminalayi Fubara's dedication and commitment to sustainable growth and development in Rivers State. Under his watch, the state is slowly but steadily experiencing development in critical sectors with massive road construction, renovation of schools across the state, improved medical services in government-owned healthcare services, and prompt payment of salaries and pensions, among a retinue of others.
In Kano State, the Northern Patriotic Agenda has condemned the recent call by the 2023 presidential candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso and State Governor Abba Yusuf for the overthrow of the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Speaking at a press conference, the convener of the group, Emmanuel Agabi, described Kwankwaso's letter to members of the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) in the National Assembly as a threat to the stability of the government. According to Agabi, Kwankwaso's blatant disregard for the Constitution and fundamental democratic principles is nothing short of alarming, necessitating heightened vigilance from law enforcement agencies to thwart his moves and also ensure the safety and well-being of citizens.
We take grave exception to the conduct of Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, who has surrendered to the whims and caprices of Kwankwaso, neglecting his gubernatorial duties in favor of trivial pursuits, such as persecuting his predecessor, demolishing structures erected by past administrations, and exacerbating unemployment in Kano. Instead of fulfilling his role, governor, he has opted to engage in political grandstanding, recklessly jeopardizing the well-being of Kano's citizens in a misguided quest for political ascendancy. Governor Abba Kabir continues to validate the criticisms of the detractors, demonstrating a palpable lack of political acumen and leadership vision. Through his actions, he persistently disappoints and disillusions the citizens of Kano, exacerbating their struggles instead of alleviating them. The populace of Kano deserves to experience the benefits of effective governance, akin to their counterparts in other states.
A major drug cartel behind the production and distribution of deadly psychoactive substance methamphetamine, popularly called Ukburu Miri, has been taken down by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) following the arrest of the leader of the syndicate, 42-year-old Joaquin Chikodi Mbono, and his associate in his mansion tucked in his Umomi village, Imo State. The cartel, with operational bases in Imo and River States, became a target of the agency following intelligence indicating that it is responsible for the distribution of substantial quantities of methamphetamine in the southeast, south-south, and other parts of the country. After weeks of surveillance, officers of a Special Operations Unit in the agency on Friday, July 5, 2024, tracked and traced the drug lord to his village mansion in Imo State, where he was caught with another member of his cartel, Kenneth Chibike of Webu, with different quantities of methamphetamine, its precursor chemicals, a pump-action gun, and cartridges recovered. We'll take a break here, but still to come, NNPCL, Ipman blame private depots logistics for scarcity of petrol in the country. Stay with us for details of this and other stories. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. Following a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by 88 members, the House of Representatives has asked the federal government to suspend the implementation of the Samura Agreement until all controversial clauses are addressed and spelled out. Moving the motion on Tuesday, a member of the House, Aliyu Madaki of the New Nigeria People's Party, drew attention to the clause which highlights gender equality and describes it as a Trojan horse which could violate the morals of the country. We also told you that a High Court in Rivers State has issued an interim order restraining Chief Judge of Rivers State, Simone Chibuzo Amadi, from acting on any resolution or document seeking the impeachment of Siminalayi Fubara, governor of the state. Ruling on a motion ex parte filed by the governor and the State Attorney General, Jumbo Stephen, the presiding judge also restrained the Chief Judge and Clerk of the State Assembly from dealing with pro-Wiki loyalist Martin Emewule and 26 other lawmakers. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Well, let's now join Joy Uchejim for more stories in the world of business. What's the latest, Joy?
Well, thank you, Simi. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPCL, has said the queues recently seen in parts of the country are as a result of ship-to-ship transfer of premium motor spirits, also known as petrol, between mother vessels and daughter vessels, resulting from recent thunderstorms. The Chief Corporate Communications Officer of NNPCL, Olufemi Shoneye, said the adverse weather condition also affected berthing at jetties, truck loadouts, and transportation of products to filling stations, causing a disruption in station supply logistics. He added that due to the inflammability of petroleum products and in compliance with the Nigerian Meteorological Agency regulations, it is impossible to load petrol during rainstorm lightning. He also mentioned that NNPCL was working with relevant stakeholders to resolve the logistics challenges and restore a seamless supply of petrol to affected areas. We'll take a short break and be back with stock market reports. Back. Nigeria's equities market decreased by 0.2% or 114 million naira on Tuesday. No thanks to investors who sold shares of UACN, Ikeja Hotel, and other major laggards on the bourse. Now, Africa Prudential led the laggards, dropping from 9 naira per share to 8 naira per share, and UAC Nigeria wasn't far behind. Now, wrapping up the second trading day of the week on the Nigeria Stock Exchange, we saw nearly 304 million volumes of shares exchange hands in 8,256 deals, totaling a market value of almost 5 billion naira. Now, compared with the previous NGX trading day, which was Monday, today's data shows 56% decline in volume, 30% decline in turnover, and 14% decline in deals. Now, that's a dramatically low turnout even for a bearish close. Now, looking at our select international stocks, the equities are still up to a slow start as these charts show, but the Japan stocks in Asia, however, are their top play, having maintained its favored equity investment move. Now, switching gears to the forex scene, the naira experienced a stark dip, now trading at 1,540 naira to a dollar on the black market. The British pounds are going for 2,000 naira on the black market, and the euros are at 1,650 naira on the black market. Now, that wraps up our business and stock market updates. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Joy. And on the foreign scene, Liberia's President Joseph Boakai has voluntarily slashed his salary by 40%. This was disclosed in a statement shared on the website of the Liberian government on Saturday, which said the move aligned with Boakai's commitment to fiscal integrity and national financial security. The decision comes days after some lawmakers arrived at the parliament in tricycles in protest against the non-payment of funds for their vehicles by the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Boakai says the announcement reflects his determination to lead by example in strengthening government accountability and demonstrating solidarity with the citizens. Well, it's time for Entertainment Report on News Now.
Celine Dion is contemplating a return to the spotlight despite battling a rare neurological disorder known as stiff person syndrome. The iconic 56-year-old artist has reportedly been offered a prestigious opportunity to perform at the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics despite the progression of her illness. The Canadian singer, known for her powerful voice, revealed that she had been diagnosed with a progressive neurological condition that affects the muscles, causing stiffness and spasms in 2022. In spite of this, Celine has previously expressed her eagerness to return to live performances, which have been the cornerstone of her career. According to sources close to the singer, she sees the Paris Olympics as a chance to make a comeback to the stage she loves so dearly. And that's it on Entertainment News on News Now. Joy Uchejim, TV360, Lagos.
And on sport, Nigeria is set to host its inaugural Combat Games, which will hold from November 25 to December 1, 2024. The Vice Chairman of the Organizing Committee and Judo Federation President Musa Oshodi explained that the event will showcase a diverse lineup of sports, including arm wrestling, boxing, fencing, judo, karate, kickboxing, mixed martial arts, strongman competition, taekwondo, and wrestling, with the venue yet unknown. It says the event aims to bring various combat sports under one umbrella, enhancing the visibility and competitiveness of Nigerian athletes globally. That's all on News Now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.